It's a special day today. This is Easter. And it's always been a special day for me growing up. We were pretty poor generally. But every Easter, I was talking to my brother, and he reminded me of this morning, that every Easter, my mother would buy us a new white shirt to wear to church, a brand new shirt. And of course, the minute we got home, we had to take it off. She didn't want to get dirty. But it is a special day. And I'm going to be talking about an enlightened teacher and what an enlightened teacher does for us. But before I go there, I'd like to talk a little bit about Maya. We hear a lot about Maya. We're born into Maya, this world of illusion and suffering and pain. The Christians don't call it Maya, they call it we're born into sin, which essentially in my mind is the same thing. We're born into this dream of limitation. And there's something inside of us that is attracted to things of danger or negative things. It's very sticky. I've talked about it many times about I've driven from Las Vegas down through toward Phoenix in this life probably 100 times, going back 50 years or more. And there's this one place along the road, having passed thousands and thousands of cars, there's this one place that I get to just north of Phoenix, where I have a vivid memory of a head-on crash that had some bodies laying out on the side. Hundreds of times I've driven that road and never had anything bad happen. But that one memory sticks in my mind. It happens to all of us. I think it's part of the human condition and the DNA. We're born into this world and we have basic fears. We have a fear of falling. We have basic fears. And we pick up fears from other people. What they're afraid of, we become afraid of, We create our own fears out of our own suffering. Maybe you like riding motorcycles and you're having a great time. And one day you have a terrible accident and you never want to ride a motorcycle again. Well, there's probably some wisdom to that. I should know I rode one for 40 years until it rode me. But what I'm saying is there's something in us that sticks to the negativity. We tend to obsess about our health, our financial situation, our love life, our job, our automobiles, our homes, our pets. And generally, we get into a habit of being kind of negative, complaining about our little aches and pains, focusing on someone and only seeing their bad side, not seeing their good side. We are attracted to this sticky Maya illusion, sin, whatever you want to call it. It's very sticky. And when you touch it, it touches you and it is sticky. It kind of stays in your mind for a while. It's difficult to change, especially if you've had decades, not lifetime, of just approaching life from a very skeptical and negative point of view. It's very difficult to change. That's why people have such a tough time getting out of a poverty consciousness. It's why they have such a tough time thinking that they're worth anything. They have a low self-esteem and they just can't get past it. It goes on just about every part of our life. We have wonderful things that happen to us all day long, but that one person that cursed us out on the highway is what we remember the rest of the week. We need to change this pattern. We are God in the flesh. We create our world through our mind and through our intention and through our will. What you focus on, you tend to have. Maybe you don't know this, but for many years, I was a religious science minister, which was very positive thinking church, very positive. And we would do affirmations, I'm a money magnet, or I forget, people love me, whatever, We were trying to change the way people thought, because if they changed their thinking, their lives would change. Because we are creative. We are an intelligent, spiritual, creative being. And what we focus on, we create that in our reality. If you're one of these people that is pessimistic, you're always being skeptical of everything, no matter how good it is. Well, there's got to be a downside to it somewhere. For every silver lining, there's got to be a cloud, and probably a big one. We get into this habit. And in Buddhism, they talk a lot about right thinking, of mindfulness, being mindful of what you're thinking and what you're doing with your mind and with your thoughts. And we have this innate tendency, being born into this world, surrounded by people who have bad habits when it comes to thinking and monitoring their state of mind. We're around people who revel and enjoy the feeling of being angry, of being angry at someone or angry at a situation, getting caught up in some sort of a tribalism where our religion or our politics is the only way to be, and anyone that doesn't believe like we do should be destroyed. Yeah, it's human condition, right? Well, we're more than that. You are an eternal soul. There's just no getting around it. You're an eternal soul. You have no beginning and you have no end. You are made of eternity. So is everything and everyone else. But if I have filters in front of my seeing, filters in front of my perception, that tells me that I can't believe you because maybe you have a different skin color, or you were raised in another country, or you have a different religion, or whatever. If I have these filters, I am filtering out the divine, and my life experience reflects that. Someone who is skeptical and negative and doesn't believe anything good is happening, how do you think they face each day? They're certainly not going to wake up with a song in their heart. They're going to dread the day coming up because it could be a terrible, terrible day for them. They can't be happy because the person that's in office is not somebody they want. They can't trust somebody because they're of a different religion or a different ethnicity. We put these barriers, these egoic barriers up between us and eternity. Eternity stretches in every direction. So we put up these barriers to protect ourselves, protect our little world. Well, what world are you creating for yourself? You can have a lot of money and be poor. You can be physically disabled and not feeling so well, and yet have a very healthy attitude. You can be the person in the hospital when you're dying that the nurses want to come in and be with you because you're such a gentle and happy soul, and you actually care about them. What kind of person do you want to be? I had 2 aunts growing up. And one aunt was Aunt Ethel, and the other one was Aunt Minnie. They were sisters, they weren't in-laws. And Aunt Ethel was always negative, always negative. She was rarely said anything good about anyone. She always found fault. My Aunt Minnie never said a negative word about anyone. She was happy. She was peaceful to be around. I asked my mother, I says, how is this? How can one aunt be so negative and the other be very positive? And they were raised in the same circumstances. They were only a couple of years apart. They grew up in the same family, in the same depression, everything. And my mother said, it's a decision that you make on how you're going to be. Are you going to be happy, or are you going to be angry or fearful? What you focus on, you become. What you touch touches you. And as I said earlier, negative thoughts, hateful thoughts, angry thoughts, distrustful thoughts, these are very sticky. And when you touch that with your mind and your heart, it's hard to get rid of it. It can stay with you all day long. So this is why we need to be very conscious of what we think and how we're approaching life. Maybe you should set your alarm in the morning, and instead of a bell going off or something, have it play a song. I do that sometimes when I set the alarm. I do all the time. I'll play a Zazen song, or maybe one of those old songs like Good Day Sunshine, or there's a lot of old, happy songs. Wake up with a happy song. Wake up and try to smile. Start the day with that. It's a good way to combat the negativity. And I say combat, I mean not interact with it. Take control of your mind and your consciousness as much as you can. And some days will be better than others. But I think if you practice this intention from your heart, that you're going to find your days are much better. As I said earlier, a person who's skeptical and negative, that's all they see all day long. They're touching that sticky stuff and it's just all over them. You see them walking down the street. They don't have a smile on their face. Some of them are looking down. And you know what? When I walk by them, I try to catch their eye and I smile and I'll say good morning or good afternoon. They don't have to respond. I'm happy. And that smile and me addressing them in a positive and happy way kind of lifts their life a little bit. It makes their morning a little bit brighter. You don't have to get stuck in that negativity. I know it's a habit. It's a habit to think you don't have enough money. It's a habit to think you don't, but stop it. Just stop it. As Christ said, the birds, the flowers in the field, they don't worry. They just exist and love it. Love your life. It's precious. Forgive those people who have hurt you. Because if you don't, you're carrying that sticky, negative vibration with you all the time. Forgive everyone. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to carry that gunk inside of your heart, and it's going to filter what you see. Focus on the best and the highest. See if you can meet eternity every day in your meditation. Just in your meditation, just see if you can drop everything. Drop your plans, drop your dreams, drop your attachments. Surrender to spirit and see where it takes you. And then another good thing to do that might help you against, these old patterns of focusing on negativity is to be grateful, to have gratitude. It's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful day. And the people in your life are precious. They're even more precious when you realize how transitory everything is, that we're only here for a few short decades. So it makes the people that were close to us even more precious than before. Everybody has flaws. Everybody does. But that doesn't mean you can't be friends. It doesn't mean you can't love them inwardly. One of the things that really helps on the path, if you're lucky enough, is you meet or you come in contact with an enlightened being. I was fortunate enough to have two teachers in this life. For the first 16 years, my only teacher was Jesus Christ. And I had an amazing, and I still do have an amazing relationship with Christ. And then I met my teacher who was in the flesh, one who was actually had a body, and his name was Rama. Both of these teachers, when I focused on them and opened my heart, took me into light, took me into a space beyond this world, beyond all worlds, into a timeless, expansive dimension of light and utter dissolution of the self. So a teacher can help you. I believe that to be a spiritual teacher is the most honorable and the most wonderful thing we can do in this world. To do, even in a meager way. You don't even necessarily have to be enlightened. You just want to help people find God. And that's a good thing. This is Easter. It has a double meaning for me. Christ was crucified on Easter. And on Good Friday, but he arose from the dead. He rose out of his grave, transfigured, having transfigured his physical corpse into a body of light. Must have been a very powerful thing. And the other teacher I had, Rama, exited this world on Easter morning around 3. So it's a very special time for me. And yet these teachers are not separate from me, or nor are they separate from you. We are all one. Remember that. There's just one essence, and that essence is the divine presence that is in everyone and in all things. And when we see people take this divine energy and wash it through their system, as I've been talking about, in a negative way, in a complaining way, I know I do it too, full disclosure here, but when we see that happening, we see them take this perfect light, this perfect intention, and create a dualistic thing here. And that's not enlightenment. It's just not. We all fail. Everyone has an off day. It's called being a human. But I also know that we are divine and that you are divine. And when you're around a teacher, helps if they're enlightened, but at least a teacher who has a pure heart, whose only purpose is to assist you as you awaken and to set you free. not keep you wrapped up in their little group forever, then you'll be very lucky. I help those that I can. There are other teachers that may do it better. But when you find the right teacher, you'll know it. Things will start to lighten up for you. And in the meantime, love the one you're with, I guess. It's an old song I heard back in the 60s. Take care of yourself. Resurrect your soul from the tomb of this body into the divine light of enlightenment. Wake up happy. Determine when you go to bed at night. Tell yourself, I'm going to wake up happy in the morning. I'm going to wake up with a song in my heart. And I would bet if you say that every night, within 2 to 3 days, your mornings will be full of joy. And let that be the beginning of your day. And see how much you can spread that joy throughout the day. Be the light. Be the light. Since this is a special day, I'm going to play 3 songs that actually has my teacher's voice on it. And this is from the Samurai album of Zazen. It's a beautiful album. I recommend that you download it. I think you'll find it on the Rama Meditation Society page. And it's free. Just download it. So here we're going to have 3 songs with my teacher. And you have a wonderful weekend. And next weekend, next Sunday, I'll be coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you happen to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, a week from today, let me know and I'll give you the address and the time. It's obviously going to be at this time, but I'll give you where we're meeting. And you can come and sit. It's a small group. It'll be nice. Just know that love is what binds us all together. We are made of love. And if we live our life correctly, we will share our love with everyone we meet. So let's meditate to these 3 songs.
On the other side of this life, there's enlightenment. It stretches on forever. Past thousands and millions of stars and suns. Into eternity. What you focus on, you will become. So always focus on that which is the highest, brightest, and happiest, and most noble of all things, enlightenment. lightning and the thunder of life are clamorous. Beyond them is the stillness of perfect light and enlightenment. We exist for a transient moment, and then we dissolve again into the clear light of reality, the Dharmakaya, the endless cycle of perfection and light, as it manifests itself.
Namaste. Have a great week.